record. I'm going to cut this part off at the beginning. And here we go. This is the Seahawkers podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Schultz, and I am joined by my good buddy, Adam Emmert. And we have a special guest today as we preview the Week 1 matchup between the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. It is Mr. Brandon Perna of That's Good Sports out on YouTube. Brandon, appreciate you coming on, man.
I'm only here to uncurse my team for their Week 1 performances against you guys and any possible future Super Bowl appearances against you guys. So I come in peace, but I have ulterior motives here.
Well, we maybe have some ulterior motives too, because it's interesting that you bring up the curse thing right away, because I was gonna hold off and get to it in a little bit, but we have kind of a history of curses between the two of us, and last season Seahawks were doing really well. The curse wheel comes out after I don't know, we were probably in the top 5 on the power rankings.
Probably.
We were doing
hard
pretty
for
well.
Me to remember anything, but yes.
Yeah, I know. We were top 10 at least, or even 12, because that's how the power rankings work. Okay. But we're on the power rankings. We get hit by the curse wheel, and the Seahawks get destroyed by the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, right. Yeah. So it worked last year.
It did.
Yeah,
and I see you have a new wheel, but curses work for us too. And I want to play a little clip for you, Brandon.
Okay.
From, this was like a week. Yeah, after
April of 2022. So this was right after the Russell Wilson trade, right here on the Seahawkers podcast.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Oh, can we talk about the phrase "let's ride" for a second?
Yeah,
because I'm telling you, this is going to be a true thing. It's something we're going to look back on in 20 years, and everybody's going to be like, holy smokes, I can't believe that there is a curse that came out of Russell Wilson being traded to the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have initiated a curse upon themselves, much like the Red Sox did when they got rid of Babe Ruth, or however the curse came about for the Cubs. They're
just bad for a really long time.
But I mean, there was those very famous curses, right? They all had their little catchphrases. Well, with the stadium lighting on fire and the football gods letting us know this is the beginning of their curse, it will forever and always be known as the "Let's Ride" curse.
So there you go.
Wow, you guys were spot on.
You cursed us. I do feel like it's time for a curse truce. Between the two of us.
Hearing that, yes, I'm willing to play ball. I am willing.
Yeah,
you think us cutting ties with Russ, does that end the curse there?
I don't know, because we tried to call off the curse, I believe, at one point, because we just wanted to use it just for draft pick purposes. Yeah, like that was initially it. We wanted a high draft pick, and then for it to be over. And then we kind of wanted some success from Russ, because as fans of the guy, like we wanted him to succeed. It didn't work out last year.
It didn't work.
Yeah, I tried to make it a 1-year curse. I tried to make it a 1-year curse, and it just didn't happen. So sorry, not sorry. But it was fun to actually put that out there. And after watching your show for the last couple of years and talking about the "Let's Ride" curse, I felt like you needed to know where it originated from. And that was a lot of fun.
I'm happy to have learned that today. That's like a top 10 prediction all time right there. So I got a lot of respect for it, even though I was the victim of it. I do respect how accurate you guys were. I've already apologized to Seahawks fans, all of the Seahawks fans that I ignored, who tried to warn me about Russ and his deficiencies, because I watched. I learned. I thought you guys were just bitter. And then I was like, okay, no, I see what the problem is. And Russ is maybe one of the most confusing quarterbacks I've ever watched play football in my life, because he is great at times. He has an incredible arm, But my take was he actually never learned to develop as an NFL quarterback. There was a big part of his game up here that he wasn't going to process pre-snap, and there's a part of the field he was just never going to work consistently, and it leaves a lot of deficiencies for your offense as a whole. And I think we Broncos fans feel similar in that when Russ is your quarterback, you catch a lot of heat because he is cheesy, he is all these things, but he's also a guy who does a lot for whatever reason. He's doing stuff in the community. He's out there. He seems like a nice guy. You're rooting for him. You're not wishing him ill will, but then he's gone and you're happy. So it is perplexing. But God bless Bo Nix. That's all I'm about now, guys.
Well, if anything comes true from Adam's predictions, he actually had Bo Nix number 2 on his quarterback rankings heading into the draft. So,
all right,
it was kind of a bummer for us just because we have a history, Seahawks and Broncos, going all the way back to AFC West. So the rivalry still sticks there. We have the Super Bowl rivalry too, which, we won. Mm-hmm. But it was a little bit tough for us as Seahawks fans to see Nix go there.
Yeah, I mean, the Washington State or the Washington and the Oregon rivalry. So, were you guys like hoping there's like an outside chance that Penix landed in Seattle?
Yeah, I think so. Out of all those guys that came out in the first round, I was probably the lowest on Penix just because of mobility and injury issues. But as far as Bo Nix goes, like I genuinely believe that he's the next Steve Young. Like everybody talks about him being Drew Brees, but with the addition of the mobility and the accuracy that Steve possessed, in his 49er days, I think that really fits with Bo Nix. Now, as a Broncos fan here, Brandon, week 1, heading into Lumen Field, hostile environment.
Yeah.
What is a successful day for Bo Nix in your guys' eyes?
Us not losing on a last-second missed field goal.
That's fine. We'll beat you by 14.
Honestly, I'd rather have that than watch us have to line up for a game winner late. I'm optimistic about Nix. I'm not super optimistic about the Broncos for the first month of football. And it's mainly because the sample size we've seen with Bo Nix in the preseason has been so nice, so good, but he never played first string defense. He looked good against lesser talent, and you can say, yeah, he's supposed to, but I'm just nervous that we're going to watch in real time the adjustment period of that increased level of difficulty. So I'm bracing for some rough patches until it kind of clicks there. But a successful week 1 for Bo Nix and the Broncos offense, I think will limited sacks. So like if he takes just a sack in the game, watching Russ, you get used to seeing sacks and drives killed because of it. And I think scoring consistently. So even if they don't win, but they're finishing drives and getting into the red zone and then scoring. And Russ was weirdly good in the red zone with like his touchdown efficiency, but I think we need to see a complete offense where we can move down the field and both the run and pass are being effective. Because the other thing with Russ is it was like teams weren't scared of our passing game. Every now and then they're going to give up the big play, but like I'm looking for the Broncos run game to be more effective. So better run game, drives, long drives, not ruined by sacks. And then if we lose, say like, I don't know, 28-31, I'll be okay with it because it means we scored. And the concern I do have is like, I don't know where the Broncos defense really is going to be this year. So score 4 touchdowns week 1, I'll feel okay. And they're all from the offense. No like weird ones in there, like a stupid fumble that the defense takes back. Give me those 4 offensive touchdowns.
Well, if it is a late field goal, at least you can be confident in knowing that you have a coach that's going to do the right thing in the final moments as far as deciding what to do. But
Hey, we got rid of needing to help our coach count down the clock. So
I wasn't always sure
ahead.
that was an issue with Hackett, because we had a play clock issue just with Russ in general in his time in Seattle. So it was interesting to see some of those parallels, span across the different teams.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, like, he had trouble calling the plays,
right?
So, like, and that's one thing with Hackett there, right? And then it was more of a thing that came out with Sean Payton, and Sean Payton has, very complex play calls, and so they're trying to simplify it, and they're still struggling. You're wasting time. That was definitely an issue for Sean Payton last year. So we'll see. Bo seems efficient. Seems like he's going to get it, and by the end of the season, we'll be like, this is our guy. It's going to be cool. I don't know how good they're going to be, but I just want us to feel like we have a quarterback. That's all I ask.
Well, I think the signs are there from the preseason, and had this been a Pete Carroll led defense going into week 1, I would be especially concerned about that ability of the dink and dunk offense that I think Bo Nix is really good at. It is hitting those quick short throws, moving the team down the field. But any concerns now, Mike McDonald and his former Ravens defense bringing that to Seattle? And
hell yes, I'm concerned. I think I've talked about it, a handful of different times on, my shows and my podcasts and everything. So I'm trying not to repeat myself, but it's part of like Bo not playing those number one defenses. And the first guy he gets is one that had the Ravens defense playing well, like every single week. And they do so many things well. He's going to be creative. On the flip side, that gives me a little more confidence that maybe your offense is kind of your weakness, and maybe we can take advantage of that. I'm off of defensive coaches as head coaches. Fangio really kind of ruined that for me. And you see it in other instances, but it's like you want your head coach, in my opinion, to be an offensive guy, because if he's a defensive guy and your offense is really good, your coordinators are just going to get poached like year after year. So that's a tricky thing to figure out. Obviously, Belichick and Brady made it work. The loophole there is if you have an incredible quarterback. But yeah, I'm worried about that defense. That's why I'm worried that, Bo Nix is going to look a lot worse against you guys week 1.
Super tough spot for Bo. Just week 1 as a rookie, going against a guy who disguises the way that he does in Mike McDonald's defense. I think that's going to be tough for him. But speaking of your guys' defense, I have concerns about our offense. I really do. Ryan Grubb terrifies me to a degree, mainly because he's never coached a snap in the NFL. And you look back at the history of guys who have done that, and it is dismal, let's just say.
Sure.
So it does concern me. But the number one concern about this offense and making it function with kind of a pass happy approach is the offensive line has to hold up in pass protection. And that's kind of the spot where I think all Seahawks fans are the most nervous. Tell me a little bit about the Broncos defensive line, the pass rush, and who do you expect to kind of take the mantle as the lead pass rusher? If it's not, Browning would be my guess, but I don't know if you have different feelings about it.
No, it's the edge rusher was like the biggest question mark, I think, heading into the offseason, through the offseason, and now into the season. I feel a lot better after they traded for John Franklin Myers. So I felt like that was a nice move for the Broncos to get a guy in the draft to really help improve an area that needed help, and that's the defensive line and edge. Baron Browning is a dude who is flashed so many times. Like, he has an insane get off on the edge. Like, he is, I can't remember his last year or the year before, like one of the fastest, off the snap edge rushers to get into the backfield. The problem was consistency, and I think injury. I can't remember. It's hard to keep track. But then you have Nick Bonito. They drafted Jonah Ellis and Jonathan Cooper. So I think Browning and Cooper are going to be like the starters. And like we've seen, it's like those guys you root for because they're on your team and you see the potential. But like, I think it's just about seeing it like every snap. And it's also hard when you had guys like Von Miller before, and you just got so used to not even thinking about your edge rusher. It's just like he's just one of the best in the league. DeMarcus Ware was there, and even before like Miller, like Elvis Dumerville was really good. They had just a lot of success there. So it's been a weird thing where we're just trying to find the guy, and I don't know if they have it. In terms of like preseason, Jonah Ellis has looked good, so they need somebody to step up. I don't know who it's going to be. I think Browning has the most like talent, but to me, I don't know if I trust even like my judgment anymore. It's like, just somebody be good, and somebody convince me Vance Joseph is also good.
It does lead me to wonder, though, just in terms of the Broncos, what you feel their greatest strength is going to be this season. Like, what, as Seahawks fans, should we be really concerned about then going into Week 1?
I mean, I think every team should be concerned Week 1, just because it feels like Week 1 is an extension of the preseason almost. So in terms of wins and losses, I think a lot of teams are still kind of just dialing it in that week, outside of it just being the most unpredictable week of the year. I think if this team's going to succeed, it's just their run game's got to be good, and it's going to be better. And they have the talent in terms of the backs. I think Javonte, we watched him grow last year, or recover from his knee injury last year. Jaleel McLaughlin will get more opportunities. They have Estime, who they drafted. So there's 3 guys I like back there. 2 of them are punishing. And the Broncos have a good offensive line. I don't think it has had as much success running the ball last year, again, because teams weren't super worried about it. But, like, they paid Quinn Miners. Garrett Bowles was good. Like, again, it was like so much of the knock on their line last year was just because Russ was taking some of the dumbest sacks you'll ever see.
Yeah, we're familiar with that.
Yeah. And he's not quick enough to escape them anymore, so he can't get away with it.
He can't. So let's go back to the defense just for a second, and some of the familiarities that the Seahawks similarities that the Seahawks and Broncos share in terms of personnel. Name that comes to mind is Cody Barton at inside linebacker starting. I don't know if you're a betting man, Perna, but over under for passing touchdowns given up by Cody Barton, 3.5. What do you got? Because I'm going over.
All season, 3.5?
No, this game.
This game?
Yeah, he's terrible.
I don't know that much about him, so
you're about to. Good luck with that.
We got Alex Singleton on the other side of him, who is probably one of my favorite defenders. He's just a dude who shows up every week. And you guys struggled against the run last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like
so
that's
hearing
improved?
you talk about the run game being a strength? Yeah.
Well,
with our linebackers, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, because it wasn't a strength for the Broncos. It was just like we were like a 3 yards every run. That's like, it was never like bad, but it was just, I don't know, couldn't get those big plays consistently. Who's the rookie you guys drafted for your defense?
Byron Murphy.
Yeah. You like him right now? You excited about him?
Yeah, he looked like a monster in preseason, man. And between him and then McDonald's new scheme, I think as Seahawks fans, we're hopeful that we can not be like, I don't know, a rolling dumpster fire in run defense and be like maybe just a stationary dumpster fire. Like, that'd be great.
Question 2. Bobby Wagner last year. I like Bobby. You guys have watched him.
Uh-huh.
Is he still good? Or is the idea that, like Barton, he's terrible at defending the pass? Is that a truth in your opinion?
He's better than Barton. But defending the pass is a liability for Wagner. And so I think one of the things that we saw when he went down to LA and they used him in ways that really took him out of the pass game as far as the defender goes, and I think they used him better there. We'll see if Washington ends up doing that now that he's over playing for the Commanders. But yeah, he was getting a little bit more limited in his older age, but he's still our guy.
Yeah, Bobby Wagyu.
He's Brandon Perna of That's Good Sports. Brandon, really want to thank you for coming on. You guys have I saw you had your top 12 out. I see you didn't have the Seahawks. In fact, the Seahawks were the only NFC West team not in the power rankings. So I guess thank you for allowing us to avoid the curse wheel.
Yeah. No, I didn't actually put the Cardinals in there.
Oh.
I said I should put the Cardinals in there, but ultimately I chose the Commanders as a 4-win team who could be good this year. So, I
agree with that choice. I think the Commanders are going to be better than the Cards this year. So yeah, good call.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys think you'll see Sam Howell starting?
Oh God, I hope not. Oh please, God, no.
I kind of want it.
I'm sure you do.
A guy who likes sacks to come in and eventually replace Russ.
Oh yeah, and
no thanks.
Yeah, he just has the occasional uncorker that comes out of nowhere. Like that's always a good time. Yeah, really enjoy the Sam Howell experience.
Yeah, look, we got to find a way to make this truce work, Brandon. We have to find a way because I don't want our Seahawks to be cursed. Maybe you put us at a 0.5 in the power rankings if you deserve it, just like
I can do that.
Broncos.
Let's just find a way to put that curse on the Chiefs. If you guys can help me do that, done deal.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. My dad's a Chiefs fan, and it's not fun to be around. Like
no, not right now.
No,
right now.
Screw those guys.
Yeah. What else you got coming up on That's Good Sports, Brandon?
I will have had a video go up about every team's every fan's biggest fear heading into this season. Actually, the Seahawks were a tough one for me, so I don't know if it'll ring true.
My biggest fear is that Ryan Grubb ain't it. Like I'm really hoping he is, but it does scare me.
That makes sense.
The offensive line also.
Okay.
Now we're used to bad offensive lines, man. Like what difference does it make?
Yeah, but how bad?
I still fear it.
Never know.
Yeah. Good point.
Well, be sure and to subscribe to That's Good Sports. Brandon, thanks once again for coming on.
No, thank you guys for having me. It was fun.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
God bless Bo Nix.